The grand stone facades of Embertown rose on either side as a glowing arcane circle materialized across the cobblestone plaza. From within it, Song Fei tumbled out like a man who had just remembered he was supposed to be somewhere else entirely. His face was a portrait of barely contained panic. Why was this shadow so fixated on hunting him down? Was it because he had more female fans, and the man was simply jealous? The system counterpulsed beneath his spiral. Tradable lifespan continuously decreasing. 400, 390, 300. He hit the ground hard, staring at the numbers with the hollow expression of a man watching his savings drain in real time. He concluded the shadow must have come to Embertown because of him, then immediately offered himself an alternative theory involving a girl who simped for Shadow being one of his fans. What the hell would that have to do with him? A young woman rushed over with urgent news. The shadow had used a skill, and a blood-red flower had appeared on Song Fei's corpse back in the field. It seemed to be absorbing something directly from him. Song Fei's response was a single syllable. What then? The full picture assembled itself. A flower on his corpse, drinking down his lifespan. The counter ticked without sympathy. 300, 300. The decision was quick. If he kept getting killed, he would lose everything. The plan was to log off, buy lifespan in the real world, convert it into better gear, and come back properly equipped. Someone in the group declared with complete sincerity that where Fei went, their hearts followed. Song Fei did not deserve this loyalty. He accepted it anyway. As the logout sequence took hold, he made himself a promise. 2.5 years of hard training. He refused to believe he could not crush someone with money. And then there was the shadow. He stood alone in the amber aftermath, golden energy drifting upward around him. The system had escalated his Slayer status to Tier 4. Death would now cost him 96.875% of his current lifespan. He noted it, filed it away. Another 1,000 days harvested from Song Fei's group. The absorption had stopped. They had logged off. He observed this, the way one might note that a faucet had been turned off. Nearby, a young woman stood with her owl companion, staring in his direction. So this was the power of the rank 1 player known as Shadow. The word that came to her was terrifying. The owl appeared to agree. The shadow spoke quietly, asking his companion Xiaoyou whether Song Fei had logged off. Confirmed. Song Fei and all his fans, gone together. The shadow gave one instruction: keep watch, and notify him the moment Song Fei came back online. In a field of blood-red spider lily flowers, the shadow produced a skill book from his cloak gold tier priest skill, Holy Judgment Sword, and offered it to the accessory girl still catching her breath nearby. He would sell it at half price for one condition. She immediately clarified that she did not sell herself. She felt this was important to establish up front. He asked what nonsense she was imagining, then stated his actual request. He wanted her to join a team as their long-term healer. She agreed, but warned that if the team was too weak, she would be complaining directly to him. He told her not to worry. They were decent. Back in the rain-soaked forest, a dark-haired warrior in gray armor finished off a creature and immediately demanded his companion cleanse his poison. The young woman in purple robes clutched her staff with wide, uncertain eyes and echoed the word back at him. Cleanse, he told her with strained patience that all priests had cleansing skills. He could not hold on much longer. Something clicked. She remembered she did have that skill. She told him to watch her. She called the skill with full commitment. A great luminous sigil wrapped it between them, radiant, sweeping, and impressively large. It struck the tree directly behind the warrior. A glowing silhouette bloomed across the bark. The redhead teammate stared in complete silence. 3 dots. Xiao, you covered her mouth. She apologized. She had missed. The warrior collapsed face first into the mud, his soul departing his body in the fashion of someone who had given everything and received a misemed cleanse in return. Later, under a clear sky in Embertown, Wang Meng pressed a hand to his face. They needed to replace their healer. But hidden class healers at this stage were not easy to find. The good ones had already joined other teams. Nearby, entirely unbothered, Xiao, you reviewed her game interface with quiet satisfaction. The game was not difficult at all. Reaching level 4 had been effortless. She just needed to keep this up and she would meet brother Song Fei soon. Wang Meng's interface chimed. The shadow was contacting him directly. He knew someone, a hidden class white avian priestess, apparently quite strong. Did Wang Meng want her? His blonde teammate answered immediately. If the shadow said she was strong, they would take her. The shadow provided the details. She was in Embertown, farming there was sparse. They could head over and level together. Wang Meng reported this worked perfectly. Shelltown had become far too crowded anyway. Wang Meng turned to face Xiaoyou and explained plainly. Shelltown was too congested. The team was moving to a higher level zone. At her current level, it was too dangerous. They would not be taking her. She began to say she thought she could still manage, but Wang Meng was already moving. No time, he called back. Take care, Xiaoyou. His teammates followed without looking back. She stood in the street and watched them disappear. 3 dots. Then the indignation arrived. If they wanted to ditch her, they could simply say so. No need for excuses. She had been sick of them anyway. She would find expert Shadow and have him carry her instead. Across the thoroughfare, Wang Meng raised his hand as the Shadow and Snowy Day approached. 800 days of lifespan transferred payment for the gear. They still owed 500 more, which Captain An would deliver on arrival. At the name, the Shadow went still. Snowy Day turned it over quietly. Captain An, could it be in you? The Shadow made the introductions without ceremony. This was Snowy Day. That was Wang Meng. Get acquainted. Then he looked up the street. A figure approached through the golden afternoon, silver armor, blue cape, long dark weapon across her back, one hand raised in a casual wave. Player ID, Justice, Execution. The Shadow's eyes sharpened beneath his hood. And you, hidden class Dragon Knight, top 20 global powerhouses in his past life, one of the pillars of Great Xia's official forces, a nightmare for hostile foreign factions. He had not expected to find her here, at this stage. She arrived with a bright smile, extended her hand, and introduced herself warmly. She said she really admired him. Nice to meet him. The Shadow took her hand. He said hello. It was the first time in this life he had stood face to face with someone who had outranked him in the godforsaken game. And you remarked that his leveling speed was insane and asked if he had some kind of secret. Then, with a light laugh, she added that she had even joked earlier that he might be a time traveler or reincarnator or something. She said it with just enough lightness to make the subject impossible to press. The Shadow noted it and said nothing. He also noted that in his past life, this woman had been on a completely different team from Wang Meng. Her presence here meant the timeline had already shifted. The system confirmed the remaining payment, 500 days received, and you had already stockpiled significant tradable lifespan on behalf of Zhenghai City's officials. Dragon Knights were hard to kill. The authorities had clearly decided she was a safe place to keep it. Her expression shifted, still smiling, but direct now. She told him that if he ever had gear to sell, they would take everything. Then, as though it were an afterthought, she mentioned that all of Zhenghai City's official lifespan was currently on her person. She asked simply, he wouldn't kill her for it, would he? The Shadow answered without hesitation. He was not that short-sighted. Cooperation benefited them both. An Yu's smile widened. She told him she had known he was smart. Behind the pleasantness, the Shadow recognized what she was doing. Every sentence had been a probe, testing angles, assessing responses, filing results away. The rumors had not exaggerated. An Yu played at openness while moving like something considerably sharper underneath, ruthless when the situation called for it. Having her as Great Shi's liaison was going to save him a considerable amount of trouble.
Hope you enjoyed the recap. Smash that like button if you did, and subscribe for more. See you next time.